for Sullivan Mounsey. Here we go then, the second half of the season. It's race 10 of 18 this year. It will be go when the lights go out, and the lights go out now at Brands Hatch. Good start for Crosby from third on the grid. Love Vision Track Academy riders charging through. Garnett, though, that is an absolutely sensational getaway from pole position, looking to extend his championship lead here at Brands in the searing heat this afternoon. Number 55, Harrison Desoy, is up into second place. Brinton was away. Well, he's looking for a finish. Emmanuel Brinton, who's making his debut in the British Talent Cup this weekend as a European Talent Cup rider. Perfect getaway for Johnny Garnett. We get down towards Graham Hill Bend without the trouble we had this time yesterday, and everybody, Taylor McKenzie, is away cleanly.
Yeah, a much better start today. Yesterday was a lot of melee out of Druids, and unfortunately Carter and Crosby haven't managed to get away with the front bunch like they did yesterday. They cut through the pack and had the pace at the end of the race to put them higher up on the grid as Brinton was on the grass there. Really easy for that to happen there. You'll notice as they come out of Surtees that the track actually comes back on itself a little bit. If you're alongside someone just as you go to overtake them, at that exact point the track sticks right out and it's easy to end up on the grass. Luckily on smaller bikes there's not too much of a problem.
Oh, that was scary with a capital S. It's a 14-lap race, but it was almost a half-lap race there for Emmanuel Brinton. Manages to get away with that one, and he's chasing after Harrison Desoy. But look up the road, Garnett, very handy advantage. Garnett leads, Desoy is second, Brinton is third. Just Keanu Via, number 53 here, just been passed by Harrison Crosby at Stirling's, but Keanu's made a good start to this one as he flies up through the order. He comes down towards the end of the opening lap at Clearways. Huge crowd here at Brands, and they still haven't settled themselves out yet as they get round through Clark Curve and into the Brabham Straight.
Via, interestingly, was really strong at tracks like Donington, and he struggled a little bit this weekend to match, because we remember him from the start of the season battling it with Johnny because they're quite similar in size, and been a little bit more difficult for him this weekend.
There's Brinton through into second place, but that was a big mistake by Desoy, wasn't it? Down at paddock, and he's backed himself now into Crosby and Via. And behind them is McKay. Rouse Brooks in there as well. Now here's a replay. Look on the left-hand side. Look at Brinton.
You see there, the first little part of that, there's actually, it's like black plastic on the inside of the track, so it looks like tarmac. That was the first bit where it looked like he's off the track. Not a lot happens, but then it does become grass, and that was also very close there.
Yeah, sorry, that was the two Harrisons. That was Crosby on the inside, Desoy on the outside, nearly making contact, and Alfie Davidson's race is over, pulling into the pit lane here underneath us in our commentary position. Now, is it just me, or is Brinton actually chasing off after Johnny Garnett and trying to reel him in, because it looks like he is?
Yeah, definitely. Look at Brinton's sectors there. He's setting his fastest sectors of the race. The first sector was actually the fastest out of everyone, so definitely charging hard, trying to get on the back of Johnny, and he really can't afford to let him get away, because yesterday once Johnny got into a rhythm and got away from everyone, it was very difficult for him to get back.
Oh, and Desoy's back underneath Crosby as they come up through the old Dingledale and Sheen curve. Now the track goes left into Stirling's, right behind them Harrison McKay, then it's Via. Rousebrook didn't make the best of starts, he's in 7th place. Reece Stevenson's making progress after a difficult start to the weekend in free practice sessions 1 and 2 on Friday, and then Hitchcock's up there as well. Correa, the rider from America who had to go off onto the grass yesterday to avoid all of that chaos on lap 1, is fighting through as well. 12th at the moment when they last crossed the line. But look at this, Desoy, Crosby, there's microlist bikes all over the place, and there's another one going through as well. So that's Via taking Harrison McKay. Let's see whether Crosby can come back at Desoy. And as they cross the line at the front, Garnett responded with that fastest lap of a 36.9, and the lead is up to 9/10 of a second.
Yeah, Brinton's able to pull him back in the first and the last sector, but it's the second and third sector, which is the fast and flowing section of the track, that Johnny's able to pull away through Surtees here and onto the back straight, especially. Well, again, if we just look at the first sector, Brinton's pulled another 0.1 back on him, so it's a bit of cat and mouse at the moment.
Bad start for Carter Brown, championship contender down into 9th place. Brilliant start though for Sullivan Mounsey, number 4, who's up into 15th, just going through the shop there. Blue bike, bright yellow helmet. Bailey Stewart Campbell on the pink and black machine, fighting through from the back as well. Regular front runners who couldn't get laps in yesterday because of the crash. Here then is Sullivan Mounsey, and we found out later on, Taylor, that his chain came off, and that's why he was slowing and got slammed into by Harley McKay. But what a great charge from the back of the grid. He's up to 14th now.
Yeah, incredibly unlucky. It's a very rare thing in motorbike racing for your chain to come off, so, and very bad timing for it to happen just at the start of the race. So great pass there, classic block pass into Stirling's. It's easy to quite do that if you can get up the inside and stop your bike along the inside, then they've got nowhere to go and have to let you pass.
Crosby on the Banks Racing Machine, then run by Pete Banks. He's from just up the road is Harrison Ashford here in Kent. He's also a member of the Pro 83 Academy, run by British Superbike rider Danny Buchan. He's also running Zap Corduroy in British Supersport and Evan Pendrell in the R6 Cup over in the CIV series in Italy. But Desoy will just not give in, will he? He's 16 years of age, the Basildon rider, the oldest rider on the grid at 16. And Rhys Stevenson, I think I can see some flashes of the Lincolnshire flag cutting through. Rhys Stevenson is now open to 8th place, really progressing well. Like I say, difficult start to the weekend, struggled to make an impression in race 1 yesterday, managed to get up into 8th, but he never got to 8th this early in the race. There he is, number 23 on the black bike. Behind them is the 43 of Ryan Hitchcock, and the second black bike is Lucas Brown.
Yeah, Rhys earlier in the year at Donington Park had an amazing ride. He was so strong, he had a lot of corner speed, he could let the brakes off and rail round riders. He unfortunately crashed in that race, but definitely a talent, and it's amazing, this whole front bunch, all the way, all the riders on your screen now. It's hard to pick someone out of all of those because they're all one weekend stronger than the other.
Oh, this is getting so tight. It's the two Harrisons again now. Are they going to risk backing themselves into Rousebrook and the rest? Well, not at the moment, because it's a pretty handy margin back to Desoy's teammate there, one of his many teammates, who's actually lost a place, I think, as they come up through Sheen Curve. Yeah, Rhys Stevenson, I've heard a bit of a whisper that he might be moving across to the MLAV Vision Track Academy next year. Nothing's been done or anything like that, but I think there's been talks going on. Can you shed any light on it?
I can neither confirm nor deny, Greg.
Oh,
Mainly
you've
because
become
I
a
don't
real
know.
team principal. You've gone all Leon Cameo, haven't you?
The real reason is I haven't spoken to Michael and I don't know the answer to your question.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm sure he's a fantastic rider, and I'm sure something like that would be on the cards.
Yeah, he's really, really going well, isn't he, with his family-run team, as Crosby comes back underneath
The
Desoy.
last lap there, Brinton had a very bad lap. He did 38. He lost nearly a second and a half to Johnny there. I'm not sure if he's got a problem or if he's or what's happened, but that's going to pull him back into the group behind if he keeps lapping at that pace.
Well, we saw this happen yesterday as well, didn't we? Into sort of this time, a little bit later in the race yesterday, and it was only 10 laps yesterday. You see Garnett on the graphics there has set a new record, so he's gone underneath the 36.8 that Franco Bourne set 2 years ago by 0.4 of a second on a 36.4. There's Keanu Vaya. Now, he's from a real racing family. His dad, Johan, used to race in World Supersport. His cousin, Colin Vaya, is a front runner in the Red Bull MotoGP Rookies Cup, and 52 there, Evan Belford signalling to his teammate Ryan Hitchcock, follow me, because if we work together, we can attack these guys. And as our director, Richard Coventry, so finally puts it, it works all the time, that one.
Yeah, I'm yet to see it work.
I don't know why they do it. Why do they do it? Because, I don't know, do the team principals encourage that? Surely they don't.
You grow out of it. It's a phase thing. Once you've done it enough times, you realise it doesn't work. By the time you get to 21, you realise that it's probably not working. I'll just keep concentrating on what I'm doing.
Oh well, there's the 61 in the middle of this scrap as well. That's Harrison McKay, the rider from Lincoln, 14 years of age. All the riders in this class, 13 to 17. It's up this year from 12 to 13. Of course, we're seeing changes all across the board with minimum ages increased. There is a minimum weight as well, though. A combined rider weight limit of 148 kilos. Right, let's have a look at Brinton's lap time this time. 37.1. Yeah, he's got it back together, hasn't he? Or has he? No, sorry, 37.6. Yeah, he seems to have recovered, but there he is. Let's see whether he does drop into the clutches of these guys, as he did yesterday in the closing stages. Big news, though. Carter Brown, championship contender. I said he'd made a bad start. Here he is at the end of lap 5, into the pit lane at Brands Hatch. He came into the round 24 points behind Johnny Garnett this year, and that could potentially be a rather big turning point for the Honda British Talent Cup in 22. So one of the top runners is out of this race.
Yeah, that's a real shame for Carter. He's riding really well. He had a good, strong ride yesterday. Unlucky to get pipped just on the line, but he's putting together a really strong season. He's progressing as a rider, and yeah, a real shame for him.
So that would mean the gap would be 58 points if it stays like this, and it's looking good. Garnett is 4 seconds in the lead. Okay, let's just take stock if you are just joining us. Lap 6 of 14. Garnett leads by 4 seconds, as I say. Brinton looking for a podium on his debut weekend. And then you've got 3 seconds back to this scrap. And sure enough, Rousebrook has now joined the party against his teammate Desoy and the yellow bike of Crosby. 3rd, 4th, 5th. Under the bridge comes Reece Stevenson, who's now taking another 2 places, and he's up into 6th. Via is 7th, Hitchcock, McKay, Belford completing the top 10. Lucas Brown is 11th from Correa, who comes from Florida. Mounsey from the back of the grid is 13th now. Ollie Walker 14th, and Josh Bannister in 15th place. Now let's see whether Rousbrook can get in on the act here, because he's been watching these 2 for a while. He's reeled them in very nicely. Can he attack Crosby at Druids? He thought about it, Taylor.
Yeah, it's easy to get a run down the hill there, and then just as you go to the inside, the track obviously comes back for Druids. It tightens up really fast, so really you've got to try and be alongside them on the brakes. Otherwise, by the time you do let the brakes off, they really start coming back across the front of you, and you have to brake too hard, and sometimes you see riders crash in that scenario. But yeah, he'll be looking to set that up again on the next lap.
Here we go, out of Surtees. Careful with the curve there. That was Harrison Desoy. And they're approaching Pilgrim's Drop. Fast approaching half-race distance in the second and final race of the weekend here in the Honda British Talent Cup at Brands Hatch in Kent. It's a scorching afternoon and a scorching performance at the front by Johnny Garnett, but Rousbrook has now caught Desoy and Crosby as they fight for 3rd place. We thought it might happen, and it has, and he's looking really, really racy, Taylor.
Yeah, it's going to be a fantastic battle all the way to the end. The good thing with Brands Hatch is there's so many overtaking opportunities that it leads to really good racing, and because there's a bit of a straight as well, riders, whoa, big moment there. Just got on the power a little bit too early. It's easy to get caught out, because as you're getting on the gas there, you still have to keep the bike lent over as you're coming onto clearways, and yeah, a little bit too much throttle, and he was out the seat.
So up into 4th position, thanks to that error from Crosby, goes Rousbrook. Let's have another look.
So you see, you get off the brake at this point, just start opening the throttle here, but then the track also drops away from you at this point. Just as you're accelerating hard, you see he's still got full lean angle, and yeah, throws him out the seat.
Oh, and one of the Cresswell bikes has now gone down and out of this race. Desoy was 3rd, Rousbrook was 4th as they headed up to Druids, and it is Harrison Desoy from 3rd place. I wonder what happened there. Rousbrook then on lap 8 moves up into 3rd place. Crosby is 4th despite the moment. Reece Stevenson now finds himself in the top 5. What's happened here with Desoy? He's side by side with his teammate Rousbrook. They've contacted into Druids, the ultimate no-no in motorsport, and Desoy is down. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
You know how I was saying when you get up along the inside and then suddenly it all tightens up and you end up coming together? That, I think, is unfortunately what's happened there. He was alongside him, but just as it tightens up and you're trying to turn in, there was nowhere to go, and they unfortunately clipped each other and went down. I hope he's okay.
Yeah, me too. He did walk away, so I think he is. I don't think John Cresswell's going to be very pleased about that, though. So Rousbrook is up onto a podium position, but I'm going to say a provisional one, because are we going to see a penalty come his way, or will they say it's a racing incident? I'm sure Eddie Roberts and Stuart Higgs will be having a look at that one in race control. No such questions to ask of the man at the front, though. Look at this now. Johnny Garnett, number 57, from Ilfracombe in Devon. He's still only 13 years of age, and he leads the newcomer Brinton by just under 5 seconds. Let's see whether Crosby can come back at Rousbrook. I'm not sure he can, but here's Stevenson. And he's under big attack now from Ryan Hitchcock, who goes through on the approach to paddock. Keanu Via's in this gaggle as well, but he's actually lost a few positions. No, he's still there. He's the 3rd in the train. So Stevenson goes back through, takes Hitchcock, but this is a great scrap going on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of them all locked together.
All of these riders posting their fastest sectors as well, and some of them are the fastest sectors on the track.
OK, we've just had it confirmed that the incident involving the 2 teammates that you can see in the middle of your picture is being investigated by the team you can see at the bottom of your picture. What's your call? It's difficult to ascribe blame in these situations, but what would you do?
Yeah, very difficult. I can see both riders' side of the story. Normally in these situations, both people think they're right. He was up the inside. A little bit of 2 lines coming together, but at the same time he did have to sit up quite aggressively to try and miss him, and clipped him. So if he did sit up that fast, it's because he can't actually see him at that point. So difficult to say from that front camera angle. I wouldn't want to put blame on either of them. But yeah, not nice when it ends someone's race when they're in a podium position.
Yeah, and the MSV team have plenty of experience and plenty of different camera angles as well, with the CCTV shots from around the circuit here at Brands Hatch, and of course they do own this particular facility as well. Look at Correa there, number 40 from Jupiter, Florida, lives in Sheffield now. I was talking to him about it the other day, so it's quite a different sort of different sort of place to live in comparison with Florida. Quite a few changes to his diet, to the weather. Our director comes from Sheffield. He said it's not that
I like
different,
how you held
in
in what your thoughts on Sheffield were there, Greg.
Well, only because the director's from Sheffield and he's got a lot of power. Anyway. No action taken, Taylor, on that incident. We've just heard it from said director. No action taken, so racing incident, that seems fair enough. You were sort of suggesting that.
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult. He's gone up the inside. He didn't intentionally try and hit him. It was a little bit of the lines coming together. And I think in racing, obviously, no one wants to see someone go down. But at the same time, if we penalise every single... Well, that is amazing. I've never seen that before.
How on earth has that happened?
That's, yeah, I don't think I've ever seen that before.
That's Calvin Kerry's bike. Kelly's bike in the gravel at Clearways.
I presume he's just pulled in and then got off it, but if he had crashed it into that position, I'd be even more impressed.
Yeah, it was a technical, we just heard. But if he had crashed, I agreed, it would have been a particularly phenomenal achievement. But he hasn't. At least he's all right, but out of this race. Who on earth is going to get this position? Up the road, you can see the top three, but this is Crosby very much... Sorry, not the Crosby. This is for fifth position. So Via, Stevenson, Evan Belford's in there as well. Remember, these riders need to think about championship points. Yes, Garnett is a long way up the road. Yes, he's a long way up the road in the points as well, but you just don't know what's going to happen across the second half of this season. Every point counts. There's the highlighted riders you can see on the graphics. It's fifth through to Lucas Brown in 11th place. And Sullivan Mounsey, who started from the back, is in 12th place. So he's off this squabble, unfortunately. It looks like he's not going to get any further, but this could go any one of 7 ways. This is Clearways down the Sir. Jack Brabham straight, of course. Jack Brabham, famous, most famous for his 3 F1 world titles and won it in his own car, the Brabham Repco in 1966. And isn't this a great tribute for on the 90th year, the 90th anniversary of motorcycle racing here at Brands Hatch? The first ever motorcycle race took place here in 1932, and what a scrap we've got going on here at Druids. 4 laps to go then, including this one, and it's Rhys Stevenson now from Skegness on the Rocket Racing bike who's punched through to the front. He really has progressed well across the weekend. Yeah, and still setting his fastest sectors in some of these sectors. These riders really pushing forwards there. It's that Via just ran a little bit wide. The thing with Moto3 bikes, when you do run a little bit wide, suddenly you've got 5 people up your inside that quickly sneak past. Oh, that didn't work out at all well for him, did it? They are all single-cylinder, 4-stroke Honda NSF 250 machines, identical bikes. Stevenson goes defensive. Belford behind him. And then the second red bike you've got in there is Ryan Hitchcock, number 43. The blue bike is Harrison McKay. 40 is Correa attacking Via, and Lucas Brown. Another small family-run effort there, number 29. Pushed on all the time by his dad, Lee, at the back of the train. Oh, I tell you what, Belford needs the points as well, doesn't he? He was expected to be a title contender this year, but he was badly hurt at Silverstone. Came back to Knock Hill last time and won a race, but he was trying to hope to fight back into the championship top 5. Under the Bennett's Bridge and into Clearways, and Clark once again. This is great defending, I have to say, by Rhys Stevenson, with the flag of Lincolnshire on his fairings and on his helmet as well.
Yeah, if you were wondering at home why he's on the back straight, and you see here he's hanging to the right hand side, the reason he's doing that is to try and stay on the inside, which forces the other riders to go the long way around the outside. Unfortunately there he couldn't keep them behind him. It worked on the back straight before. It's a little bit more difficult at Clearways because the track opens up so much. There's a range of lines they can use, but being a bigger rider, it's hard of him to keep the smaller riders behind him.
Now here's Sullivan Mounsey. You can see his progression from all the way down in 27th place on the grid. His chain came off yesterday. He slowed up just about here coming out of Druids and was hit by Harley McCabe. Horrible accident if you haven't seen it, but a miracle nobody was badly hurt. As you can see for yourself, he's now up into 12th place. Ollie Walker behind him. Bit of a conundrum, Ollie Walker, number 48. He was so strong, wasn't he, last year? And I think he's just had a bit of a confidence knot this year, Taylor, and it's put him back a little bit. He's run by Steve Patrickson, who we were talking about yesterday. Really experienced man in these smaller classes, and it'll be great to see Ollie over the next few rounds back up towards the front of the field. And he's not going to be going to Thruxton until after the Silverstone Grand Prix, but that will be his home round, so let's hope for some good luck for him.
Yeah, but if anyone could get a rider going, it will be Steve Patrickson. He's got so many years in this championship, not only on the 4-stroke 250s, but also the 2-stroke 125s before. So he's a great guy, really kind and helpful, and I'm sure he'll be doing everything he can for him.
And poor old Rhys Stevenson, how has that happened? He's fallen all the way from the front of this pack, almost towards the back of it. Remember, he was holding up the rest of them, defending really well in 6th place, but he's fallen right back now. Lucas Brown looks as though he's gone through as well. Poor old Reese. In the meantime, Garnett, penultimate lap, 7.6 seconds up the road. Now let's see whether Brinton can get to the podium. Is he being caught though by Rousbrook? Last lap by Rousbrook was a 10th quicker, so he's catching him, but it's not enough. Crosby through the shot, and then you've got Belford, Hitchcock, his teammate, McKay. Behind McKay is Keanu Vite, then it's Lucas Brown, Stevenson, and Correa. Something must have gone really pear-shaped for Stevenson though, coming round Surtees sort of part of the track last time round.
Yeah, I didn't actually see what happened, but the fact with Moto3 is because they are so tightly packed together, one mistake and it costs you 6 places. We've seen it in so many races already this year, and we've got yellow flag out here at Surtees. Not again, it's Brinton.
I do not believe it. Emmanuel Brinton crashed out of 2nd place on the penultimate lap of race 1 on Saturday. Emmanuel Brinton, deja vu, crashes out of 2nd place on the penultimate lap on Sunday.
I can't believe it. He was really putting a strong race together. I was just going to say, the lap before he did a 37.2, his fastest lap of the race was a 37.1, so still posting fast, consistent times. Whether Roosbrook just put the pressure on, even though he's a 2.5 seconds behind, just by staying there, the gap wasn't changing on the pit board. And yeah, unfortunately, looks like he'll probably have lost the front going into Surtees.
And there's the man he was trailing. Garnett comes through down the Brabham Straight, across the line, and starts the 14th and final lap here at Brands Hatch. And that lead now, of course, increases massively to the man who was in 3rd place. So Rousbrook is now on for 2nd place in this race. Up into 3rd will go Harrison Crosby, and this now becomes an all-teammate fight for 4th position. Now, we've already seen teammates colliding earlier in this race at Druids. Hopefully we're not going to see it again as McKay goes side by side with Lucas Brown. Stevenson's in there as well. I can't believe Brinton though. I can't believe it's 2nd day in a row.
Yeah, well, a real shame. I just want to give a shout out to Johnny Garnett, because we haven't actually talked about him that much. He's absolutely dominated this race, and I was talking to Michael Laverty about him yesterday. Riding in Europe has been such a benefit to him. You can see now how much he's progressed at this round, and I didn't realise that the last round at the CEV Championship he was actually starting from the back of the grid and worked his way all the way through to 8th.
Yeah.
And to do that in a championship like that, there's so many good riders over there in Europe, and you're racing against the best up-and-coming youngsters, and you can see now that's progressed him so much here, and he's reaping the benefits of that.
Belford here telling Hitchcock to stay behind him again. He thinks he can catch Crosby, obviously, and he actually is catching him rapidly. But I'm sure if Hitchcock has half a chance, he will attack him. Look how much track he's using.
The last lap, Crosby did 40.4. I'm not sure if anything, what happened there or why he's lost so much on one lap, but not got long left to catch him.
I don't know whether he was distracted by the yellow flags or Brinton crashing, but he wasn't exactly close to him, was he? So something's gone wrong. He must have a problem. He's right on his rear wheel, and Harrison Crosby looks as though he's going to lose 3rd position. Johnny Garnett, though, comes through to do the double for the first time in 2022. His 6th victory from 10 races. Rousbrook will be on the podium, and Evan Belford sweeps around the outside of Harrison Crosby, who's clearly in trouble, and he's even going to lose another one. Evan Belford comes through to grab that podium place. Crosby down to 4th, and Ryan Hitchcock is in the top 5, and then it's Fire. McKay's in there, but he's been passed by Lucas